Hello, football fans. Welcome to another episode of Talking Tactics with Lloyd. Yeah, in this edition or segment, we look into Tito Maswangai. We saw the news last night when Orlando Pirates Football Club announced that Tito has agreed with a club in Bahrain to move away from the football club. And I thought, let me share my views in a detailed way and just to also show a bit of appreciation for one of the fan favorite, one of the, not my personal favorite player, but one of the popular players in the football club Orlando Pirates. And yeah, I think Tito's journey with the team, it's a journey that shows that resilience can take you to places that you least expected as an individual. And personally, I remember, I think I first got to know or hear about him in 2022. Yeah, 2021, 2022 season. I think he was just returning from a spell in Europe from one of the Portugal second division clubs, and he signed for Super Sports United. I think at that time, obviously, not much fanfare, relatively raw, and playing for Super Sport at that time. One, they were not going through one of their successful period. It was dark times for the club, so I think his talent was not maybe visible enough to the rest of the country. And even during the season when he played for Supersport, he was not a regular. I think the stats perhaps would paint a very negative picture. At one stage, I think he had like one assist or one goal in 15 games plus, which for an attacking midfielder, that was a very poor delivery in terms of output. But with that being said, somehow Orlando Pirates recruitment managed to bring him on board. And first season, he hit the ground running. I remember that season, 2023, season 2024. Wow, one of, I think it was just after the season of Munapule Saleh. So Tito came with pressure and expectations from an individual creative play perspective, and in the Orlando Pirates team came in silently doing his work, contributing to the success of the Nedbank Cup that was won that season, the MTN 8 that was won that season, and ultimately being nominated or collecting the midfield of the season and players player of the season. Those two accolades, I think they took his career to some heights. And there were flashes of brilliance as well, moments during some of the matches where you could see the quality, bringing back those traditional Kasi flavor football style of South African players back in the days. Yes, a lot of people firsthand was not happy, always alluding to the fact that he delays play, but there was just his natural style of play. And I think the coach at the time, Coach Jose Rivero, understood or got to understand Tito better as they continued working together to give him that freedom so as to contribute to the success of the team. And of course, second season he managed to perform well for the team. I think the last season of Jose Rivero, he had already by that time cemented his place in the team, in was also knocking in the national team. But overall, the perception of Orlando Pirates football supporters on him, I think he was growing. He he was almost getting to the levels of former players like Manapule Saleng I alluded Thembikosi Lodge, with his creativity in the midfield, playing as an attacking midfielder or as a number 10, creating and also scoring goals. I think a striker who would recall Tito's best moment would be Tsofa Tsumabasa. Also, someone like Kabelo Dlamini. They had a very good combination and link play. Also, Rene Mofokeng before he left. So, yeah, a success story for Tito under the black and white uniform. And I feel the grievances that perhaps majority of the supporters might be feeling towards coach Abdaslam Wadu, trying to paint him with a picture that he is the reason Tito left the club, but I tend to disagree. I think Tito Maswangai, as an individual, is ambitious, especially someone having played in Europe before. So, an opportunity to progress one's career, especially looking as well into his age. He's no longer a small boy or a teenager. He needs to look way beyond football days to secure himself and his family. So the move, of course, in financial terms, it is a lucrative move, and in football terms, it might not make sense, especially the fact that Orlando Pirates would be playing CAF Champions League, and the season had already started. But in hindsight, I think the team has more than enough personalities and player personnel to be able to remain competitive and also go and compete in the African continent. The argument that Jose Rivero's core of the players, Coach Wadu, seem to be dismantling or getting rid of, I don't really agree with such argument, because football, it's evolution, it's an evolutionary sport. Everywhere across a successful football team, there needs to be an evolution, evolving, whether in terms of the players or the coaches themselves, technical team. If you don't improve, you remain stagnant. And unfortunately, in the business of sport today, you need to remain competitive, and by so doing, you need to work on improving the team. Yes, last season brought success of a treble with the league champion, a league title. So this season already the team are playing in a semi-final of the MTN 8 and still remaining competitive on the domestic front in the context of the Betway Premiership. So all is not lost. I wish Tito all the best in his new club, and may all the memories that he delivered for the famous black and white long remain with me. I think one big memory for me, amongst many of those that he dished for the football club, would be the penalty, the Paneka penalty he scored right at the end in a Soweto derby. Balls of steel, big match temperament. For a player to score such a penalty in such a match, in such circumstances, I think very few players have the personality and the confidence to even attempt to do a Paneka in that match of magnitude. So all in all, Tito Ambulance Tembisa, you've done the best for the football club, given all your all. I think the stats would not maybe be a best reflection of your contribution to the football club. However, 120 games, 7 trophies won, 28 goals, 21 assists for an attacking midfielder. That's a good, reasonable output. Yes, one can also recall moments during some of the matches that you left the opponent in sixes and seven with your dribbling or with your passes and just the overall contribution to the team. I think many players would feel aggravated with his departure, having developed an understanding with him, of course. But football is like that. We move, we evolve. Somebody else will have to take upon the responsibility and ensure they can deliver for the team. So I don't expect really anybody to replace Tito in terms of style and the type of a player that he was. I think he was a unique player in South African football fraternity. So to expect somebody to play like him, it would be unfair. But I'm expecting the Orlando Pirates offensive or creative players to raise their standard and raise up their hand, show Coach Wadu that they belong in the team and they can also contribute to the success of the football club. So with that being said, that is my view on the Tito departure. All is not lost. All parties, I think they were happy to come to such a decision. So for the supporters, let's rally behind the team and ensure we can create many more memories of players similar to what Tito's success with the team laid. Thank you.